Morning fam, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be covering my team selection ahead of blank game week 24. There's been lots of fixture announcements, so there's plenty to talk about. If you're loving the content, then please do comment below. Let me know who you're targeting ahead of game week 24, who you're getting out for your team. Are you considering using any of those chips already? Please also let's try hit 60 likes on this video, that would be fabulous. Lastly, if you're new to the channel, then please do like and subscribe. Okay, let's get into this. Now that game week 23 is finally over, I can talk about my points. There really isn't very much to talk about. However, I did decide to choose Ramsdale over De Gea, and he got me 8 points instead of 6, so that was pretty good. So that was something in a week where something is really helpful. In defence, I was really hoping for a little more here. I was really hoping that Trent and Cancelo could bring a little more than just 2 points to the table. However, they didn't. Rudiger did, however, leave me a parting gift in my team by getting me a clean sheet and a bonus point. Again, in a week like this, then those 7 points are really helpful. In midfield, only one person returned, and that was Jota with an assist. Bruno was my newcomer this week for a -4 after doing the whole Ronaldo-Bruno switch, and unfortunately he couldn't repay me anything more than 3 points, which is really frustrating. But yeah, you know, after being on the wrong side of the whole Ronaldo-Bruno gate, being on the Bruno side doesn't make me feel any more comfortable than being on the Ronaldo side at this particular point. So yes, not great there. Up front, I think we'd all like to forget about the whole Watford double experience and move on with our lives. Whether you went with King or whether you went with Dennis, either way was pretty bad. As you can see, I fell on the side of captain in Dennis, so I did get the minus points for his red card, which was not great. However, if you were a King captain, you really weren't that much better off. Either way, having both of them is just really frustrating that neither of them did anything. And then we have Antonio, unfortunately not the rose between two thorns, he's just another thorn himself. The whole front line was an absolute mess this game week, to be honest. All of that means I got 34 points, so 30 points with the -4. I now sat on 1,401 points, and that is a red arrow to 133,697th OR. Look, I'm looking at this like it could have been a lot worse. This is a red arrow, but it's not a massive red arrow for me. So I'm feeling like I scraped through by the skin of my teeth. I think there were a lot of gains if you were lucky to have some of the players that actually returned in game week 23, but unfortunately I was not one of them. So to have this red arrow being a fairly small one is kind of making it bearable, to be honest. Alright, let's take a look at what I'm planning to do ahead of game week 24. This is my team as it's currently lined up. At the moment, I'm going to go for Ramsdale over De Gea. No real reason. De Gea has Burnley away and Ramsdale has Wolves away. I feel like this could be a bit like last week where they potentially both do well. So it's a bit of a toss of a coin on this one. I'm just going Ramsdale based on last game week, hoping Trent and Cancelo can get a little more this game week based on Liverpool having Leicester, who've definitely been pretty bad at the back, and Cancelo having Brentford at home. Really hoping there's not much rotation in that City side with the 2-week break that a lot of players have just had, so hoping that he'll play and do quite well. At the moment, I'm playing Dawson. I don't think that'll change based on who I'm considering bringing in this game week, which you'll see in just a second. Pretty happy to play him against Watford, considering what the Watford lads have done recently. So yeah, it's not great having 5 players in one match, but it's one of those game weeks. I do currently have Trossard and Rudiger that are blank game week players. I will be selling at least one of those, but with them both blanking, at the moment that means I'm playing Gray, Jota, Boeing and Bruno in midfield. I'm recording this at the point where I don't really have much more information on Bruno's flag and his knock, but I'm just in a situation now where unless Ragnar comes out and he says that Bruno is definitely not playing, I'm not really sure how much I trust him in the presses anyway. So I'll likely just play Bruno whatever happens. At the moment, the captaincy, as you can see, is on Bowen. This is a difficult one. Depending on which transfer combination I'm thinking of going with, this could change, but it really is between, I think, Bowen, Jota and Cancelo for me this game week with the team that I have currently. And then, obviously, I still have to play the 3 front line that I had last game week. It's not fun. It's not clever. It's certainly not inspirational. I hate it, but it's the situation I'm in unless I'm willing to wildcard. And at the moment, I'm not quite willing to wildcard. So on that note, before we jump into my possible transfers, I just want to say that I am going to try and hold on to my chips for just a bit longer to wait and see where these FA Cup fixtures fall so that I can make a bit more of an educated plan for my chip strategy. That's the hope anyway. So I'm just going to sit on my hands a little longer with these chips and this chip strategy, and hopefully in a week or so I'll have a bit more information in order to make a bit more of a plan. So with that, let's jump into what I'm planning to do ahead of Game Week 24. So I could just make one transfer this game week, and I would be considering targeting a Wolves defender at this point, just based on the fact that they double 26, 27 and potentially in game week 30, and they have been looking quite good in defence recently. Yes, they conceded in the cup, but they didn't have Sarr in goal, so I'm hoping when he comes back in, they'll be a little tighter at the back. Now, this is me moving Rudiger to Kilman. This, depending on what my second transfer, could be somebody a little more expensive from Wolves. However, Kilman has had an attacking return fairly recently against Southampton in game week 22. And he has played every minute of every match so far this season for Wolves. So I think for 4.5, you're getting a little bit of security in him. Then if I want to take a -4 this week, as you can see, I could put KDB in for Gray. This is a difficult one. I need to have a think about this one because it could be Gray or Trossard that leaves. Now, of course, Brighton do have the double game week next game week. However, if you think about it, with them blanking this week, it's not actually a double game week. It's just having a player that isn't playing this week and that does play 2 games next week. So getting De Bruyne in for Trossard allows me to have a fixture this week and a fixture next week. However, keeping Trossard in my team does allow me to have an extra double game week player next game week. So it's a tough one, but I can afford to do Gray to KDB. Now, the idea here would be that Bruno and KDB would then be looking to move out for Salah and Son in the coming game weeks, sticking with those 2 premium midfielders. However, what I could also do is I could leave Gray where he is, I could take out Dennis, and I could put in Ronaldo up front. Now, this would move me to the whole premium forward up front and to 1 premium midfielder in midfield. That would look like this. Now, the good thing about this is that it means I'm covering both Bruno and Ronaldo for that double game week next game week, which is always good because I was on the wrong side of the whole Ronaldo Bruno for the last double game week, and that was not fun, I can tell you. So this does allow me to have an extra double game week player for next game week, and it does allow me to cover both Ronaldo and Bruno. So if either of them do very well, hopefully having both in my team would be good. Now, if I went in this particular direction, then I'd be looking to move Ronaldo onto Kane in a few weeks and Bruno onto Salah in a few weeks. However, that particular combination may mean that I'll have to find a bit of extra cash, which may mean moving Trossard or Gray down to somebody like Ramsey, and also may mean taking an extra hit. So there's a little bit to think about here. I could go either way. Still very much up in the air whether to go with 2 premium midfielders or premium forward and a premium midfielder. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm pretty nailed on going with Kilman in defence. I'm pretty sure. I did consider Dalot in this spot. Obviously, if I went with Ronaldo, I wouldn't be able to do that because I'd have 3 United already. But if I do decide to go with the KDB option, I could decide to go for Dalot in defence instead of Kilman, but I just prefer Wolves long term and with their extra fixtures coming in as well. The other thing going for KDB over Ronaldo is that I think it makes for a much easier captain pick this game week. KDB would just be an easy stick the armband on and forget about it unless Pep happens to say something in his press conferences that scares us all. However, if I go Ronaldo, I don't have much confidence in either of the United lads in order to give them the armband this coming game week. So with that said, I would be going back to pretty much how I was in my initial setup and be looking at Bowen, Jota or Cancelo for the captaincy. I don't have to take a -4 this week, but I probably will for either Ronaldo or KDB, mostly because I think it supports my bench a little better. My bench is fairly weak at the moment and I don't want to be in a situation where somebody like Bruno doesn't play and I don't really have anyone coming off of the bench for him, because at the moment I obviously have Rudiger who blanks, Trossard who blanks, and Livramento who is coming back from injury. So that is a really weak. So I'm pretty sure I'll be taking a -4, but I will be looking to take it with one eye on the coming game weeks. Now, I am hoping to do a deadline stream on Tuesday, so if I do that, I will hopefully have sat down, had a little more think on my potential strategy going forward, which may help me make a decision on whether to go with KDB or Ronaldo. On form, I much prefer the KDB pick. However, fear is absolutely pushing me towards the Ronaldo pick. So this one's going to be interesting to see which one ends up winning out. But for now, that's it. Thank you everyone for watching. Please do go check out my sponsors of this video, fantasyfootballfix.com. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, Nimfree out.